got 2. There were no spoils. Let's see. Ooh.
I actually missed the LP.
Oh, this is this.
17.
Let's see. 2, get to 4, 6, 21.
So for those of you looking on, we're just observing the numbers.
0. Williams got 2. Yeah. Spoils.
Being written in.
36. Wait on.
If you want, we can talk about ourselves.
And again, very preliminary results. As mentioned, Peter, just a part of a box, but we're seeing those big numbers that you talked about, Peter, and
Good.
earlier
I
on.
said 2.
One moment.
We had A to I. We had Blackman with 186. Dujon with 31. Mitchell did not score any in that box. Mitchell got 2. Williams got 2. For box SA2 J to Z, Blackman got 196. Dujon got 23. Mitchell did not score in that box. And Williams got 3 votes. There were no spots in any of those 2 boxes. Okay, I'll be back with you shortly to give you another 4. One more 4. Thank you.
Those are the first results
That's the entire box.
here from the Garden Greenwich Primary School. Chad Blackman, SA1 A to H, 292. Felicia Dujon, A to H, 15. Alex Mitchell did not score, did not account for any votes. Stephanie Williams, 0. There were 2 spoils in this box. 238 for Chad Blackman in I to 2. Felicia Dujon, 17. Alex Mitchell, 0. Stephanie Williams, 2. In SA2, A to I, 186 for Chad Blackman. Felicia Dujon, 31. Alex Mitchell, 0. Stephanie Williams, 2. There were no spoiled votes. J to 2, 196 for Chad Blackman. Felicia Dujon, 23. Alex Mitchell, 0. Stephanie Williams, 3. There were no small votes. There were no spoiled votes. And those are the first results from the Garden Greenwich Primary School in the St. James North by election. Tisha?
Thank you so much, Crystal. Of course, that was J to Z in terms of the early numbers coming in. Let's hear from you, Peter.
Yeah, well, Chad Blackman is in a commanding lead already, 912 votes to 86. No surprises there. And Stephanie Williams is off the mark with a couple of votes as well. But yeah, there's no surprise there. My projection screen based on that is showing already a swing of 10% in favor of the Barbados Labour Party's Chad Blackman, which is pretty impressive. And if he continues on that path, he will actually perform better than Mr. Eddie Hinkson did, which is a fairly tall order. So, as I said, positive swing for him. I think that Chad Blackman is quite happy. A negative swing for the Democratic Labour Party. Our projection for the cadre's projection now would put him at about 89%. Of course, that could be moderated over the course of the night if the other results come in. But he's already shown an improvement in terms of the swing in both of the constituencies, in both of the polling divisions. Polling division SA1, the swing is in favor of his is 3.7%. That will not change because that's finally counted. Felicia Dujon is a minus 3.7%. In SA2, the swing in favor of the Barbados Labour Party is a 3% swing, the minus 5% for the Democratic Labour Party. So based on those 2 boxes, I'm already projecting a convincing win for Chad Blackman. He has improved on the performance of the Barbados Labour Party in both instances. And the only thing that we can perhaps comment about negatively is the voter turnout, because the voter turnout at this stage is, in both of those polling divisions, is 45%, 38% for the SA2. SA1, 45%, SA2 is 38%, that's the voter turnout. In SA1, it's actually an improvement of 5% over the previous election year. In SA2, there's a deterioration of 14% in terms of the voter turnout.
But is that based on an electorate of
Yeah.
8,500 or
That- yeah.
65?
So I have the 65 number, but that's only at the regional level, at the constituency level. I don't have the breakdowns in terms of the polling division. So when we get to the end, then we will know how close we got to the 65%. But within the existing numbers, the registration numbers we have for SA1 will be 1256. And of those, so far, 562 would have voted, which is where I got the voter turnout of 45% from. But as time comes, we'll be able to reveal.
Okay, your thoughts on these early numbers, Dr. Brathwaite?
Not surprising at all. As I said, I think overall we're going to see him at least around the 70%. I think it would probably round off there and above, 70% or above. I don't think it is an indictment, as I would say on Ms. Dujon. It is an indictment on the leadership, all who comprise that leadership, and the planning in terms of how they would work towards trying to at least get back some closer embrace with the people of Barbados. I think that is what you're seeing being reflected. Indeed, the fact that you had the best, including the senator sitting next to me, that would come out, and you had the young socialists speak on Chad's platform. But then you saw on the other platform, you saw, you didn't see the turnout. You didn't see the support. Even though you're in St. James North, you got to bring your party, because this is the first time that you're leading this party into a competitive arena of elections. Whether it's a by-election, you need to bring your people, you need to bring your base, you need to bring your support, you need to support the candidate. Those are missing things in terms of the Democratic Labour Party, and that is why I said I'm not blaming Mr. John. I'm going to blame the leadership of the Democratic Labour Party for not having the foresight to see what they needed to do.
I'm not sure at this stage you can separate the blame. If you're talking about the party, it has to be across the board, to my mind. Your feedback on the early results?
I'm quite disheartening. I'm very, very, very passionate about my party. I love my party. And again, you know, things happen. People lose. It looks as if we're about to take another loss. And all I can say is that, again, once more, sad time for democracy in the country, but we will continue to rebuild.
I don't know. I've always liked Don, and I would encourage Don not to go down that road. There's something that is disturbing about the DLP narrative now, and one of them is that democracy in Barbados is being threatened by the fact that people are overwhelmingly voting for the Barbados Labour Party. Let's be clear about something. Barbados is a democracy. Barbados is a democracy that elected the Barbados Labour Party and all the seats twice. Barbadians will not give the Democratic Labour Party an opportunity until they believe that the Democratic Labour Party deserves that opportunity. And I, as a Democrat, don't see a problem with that. And I think that this thing is not an indictment on the democracy in Barbados and on people who went out and voted overwhelmingly for Chad Blackman. It's an indictment on the Democratic Labour Party in a situation where the DLP has no seats. The Barbados Labour Party has all these seats. I mean, you can't even muster an increase in one or two polling divisions, and then in response to that, you say, oh, you know, democracy is being threatened by the fact that the DLP is doing so well.
The people are.
So that's a narrative that I have become increasingly uncomfortable with, along with this whole idea of this moral superiority that the Democratic Labour Party has, and it's immoral to vote for the Barbados Labour Party. I don't have a difficulty with the argument that you would prefer to win. That's fine. But let's not go down the road of saying that democracy in Barbados is being challenged or threatened in any way by this. I don't agree. Barbadians are voting the way they're voting because they're obviously not seeing an alternative. And that, I think, that is frightening. But it is not a creation of anybody on the panel or of Prime Minister Mali. I don't agree with that, Don. So I'm sorry, I want to distance myself from that conversation. Apparently we have more results coming in.
Okay.
Let's hear from the Senator. Your response.
I have said before, the Dems mix up political Kool-Aid, drink all themselves, and then express shock when they get political diabetes. To say that it is the democracy is under threat is not to acknowledge that people are intelligent, that they're making conscious, deliberate decisions, that they're sending the DLP repeated messages that the Dems are refusing to get. I want to congratulate Ms. Dujon for now getting more votes in Barbados than she got in St. Lucia. I want to point out, no, it's a very serious thing. I want to point out because this result is shocking, you know. In 2022, the Barbados Labour Party got 530 votes in this box. Tonight they got, I beg your pardon, they got 451 in 2022. Tonight they got 530. The Democratic Labour Party got 47 in 2022, 32 tonight. The Barbados Labour Party got 376 in 2022, 382 tonight. So Chad improved significantly, held the support. The Dems had 77 before. In 2022, they got 54. That is not a threat to democracy. People are not frightened for the gas tax. They went out and made a decision that they might want a strong opposition, but they do not want the Dems. And that its leader is not who they want or see as a leader in waiting or as and they don't see the Dems as a government in waiting. And tonight, and you said it, Peter, all of the rhetoric coming from Ms. Armstrong was highly negative. Their platform was highly negative. In a contest where there were serious issues for discussion, their candidate decided that on the last night of the political campaign, the best she could do was to go on the platform in a bee suit to display herself to prove what? It was clear that the platform was very, very weak. You had people who didn't know the difference between St. James North and St. Peter North, no such constituency. You had people who didn't know the names of the constituency. You had speakers who clearly were not giving coherent conversation or sober reflection to any speech that they were making. And then you saw other speakers comatose that would appear on the ground. The Democratic Labour Party did not present itself to the public as a serious alternative. And it isn't that people think Mia Motley is perfect, and it isn't that people think the Barbados Labour Party is perfect, or that we are not making errors. We do. And we try to correct them when we make them, and we listen. And that is the difference between the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party. The public is telling you all something. Listen to what they're saying. Try to course correct. Don't then turn around and say, well, y'all didn't vote for us. That's a problem for democracy. Y'all are idiots. Because if you weren't idiots, we would have get your vote. Because basically that's what you're saying, and you cannot treat people with that kind of contempt.
All right, now we're going to jump in here for just a moment before we allow you to respond, Dr. Armstrong.
And later, may we please get into this issue about morality and money and the morality of the Democratic Labour Party versus the Barbados Labour Party, because it is clear that the public has now rejected that for yet another election.
We most certainly can. Let's head back out to Crystal Hoyt, who is joining us once again from the Gordon Greenwich School.
It's essay 3, A to G. We have Blackman at 93. Lujan at 30. Mitchell at 0. And Williams at 1. There were no spots. Tier 3, H to Z. We have Blackman at 116. Dujon at 22. Williams at Mitchell at 0. Williams at 0. There were no spoils. SA4, A to G. We have Blackman at 83. Dujon at 38. Mitchell at 0. And Williams at 2. No spoils. Oh, sorry. One rejected in that box. So that's a 1. SA4, H to Z. We have Blackman at 113. Dujon at 43. Mitchell at 2. Williams at 2. Or spoils. So that's your 4. SA3, let's go again. A to G, it's 93 for Blackman, 30 for Dujon, 0 for Mitchell, 1 for Williams. At SA3, H to Z, we have 116 for Blackman, 22 for Dujon, 0 for Mitchell, 0 for Williams. At SA4, A to G, we have 83 for Blackman, 38 for Dujon, 0 for Mitchell, and 2 for Williams with 1 spoil. At SA4, H to Z, we have 113 for Blackman, 43 for Dujon, 2 for Mitchell, and 2 for Williams. No spoils. Okay, I'll be back shortly with another 4.
Well, there you have it. 4 more boxes with results, and I will be able to provide you with additional boxes shortly. Tisha?
Thank you so much, Crystal. Back here in studio, our panelists are most certainly making their notes to be able to keep up. I know you're probably making your notes at home as well. I'll start with you.
Yes, what I can say, Tisha, is that, in my short moment of reflection, I can accept, Peter's criticism indeed. And the truth is that it was the people's choice within St. James North. And I do hope that Felicia comes back stronger as we are on the cusp of what should be a constitutionally due 2027 election. I know the Democratic Labour Party is very much committed to continuing the fight of the opposition in this country. And I definitely do hope that we can rebuild the trust of the electorate at this point in time. Again, the issues that were presented tonight are issues that still need to be forthcoming within the country, particularly with respect to the transparency and integrity that we would have asked for. And we do hope to see that Integrity Act pass soon so that public officers will be made to show, specifically where, expenditure, income, revenue, everything that the government lays on the burden and lays at the feet of the taxpaying citizens in this country. We do hope that we can see more forthcoming information in time to come.
Peter?
Yeah, okay, next 2 boxes are providing a similar trend. Let me say that the overall swing analysis is the same, and it is still positive for the Barbados Labour Party. We're still seeing 80% or more support level. That's the projection that we're making at this stage. And in those boxes, SA3, the Barbados Labour Party had a 2% swing, an improvement over the previous election. In SA4, interestingly enough, there is a deterioration of 3%. And I think that this will be the first occasion that Chad Blackman has deteriorated in terms of his support level. So we have a 3% swing against the Democratic Barbados Labour Party. And interestingly enough, the corresponding swing for the Democratic Labour Party is actually only a 0.05% improvement, which essentially means that in this instance, the increase or the deterioration for the Barbados Labour Party was shared between the Dems and the two third parties, or well, the third and fourth party, which is consistent with the analysis that was given earlier, suggesting that the Dems' support was being split. And we saw that in SA4. So the first box that Chad Blackman didn't do better in, you're basically seeing that deterioration being shared by Alex Mitchell and Stephanie Williams. Interestingly enough, it's the first place that Alex Mitchell actually got support. As far as the turnout in both of those are concerned, we're seeing a turnout of 34% in both. And in both instances, it's a deterioration over the previous election, -8% and -15%. But then that is taking into consideration the inflated number and not the revised number. So so the Democratic Labour Party has actually had a marginal improvement in SA4, which is a seat that I believe SA4 was historically...
Their strongest.
Is their strongest, yeah.
All right, well, already with
it was
these,
their strongest in 2022.
two.
Right, precisely.
With these small numbers, the boxes that are, the parts of the boxes that are already in, we're already seeing very high numbers for the Barbados Labour Party candidate. This is what many of you expected to see coming into this particular fight, if you call it that, more or less. Your thoughts, Dr. Brathwaite, generally on these numbers, seeing these numbers so early on in the count?
Not surprised with these numbers, and it is consistent. The Barbados Labour Party, and that was a sign when you see SA1 and SA2 improve, because they're traditionally our strongest boxes in that constituency. And even though in this last box I came in SD1, where Chad dropped off a bit in terms of any sense of improvement, it has traditionally been one of the boxes that the Democratic Labour Party would do better in. But even when they lost, it tends to be their best box. So things are running consistent, and I say, and I acknowledge the sentiment passed that the participant received more here than there. Notwithstanding, I think is an indictment on the party itself and the leadership of the party. You cannot damage your. If your image was damaged because of the harpoons of the Barbados Labour Party in 2018 and 2022, you cannot come and then take the harpoons out and stab yourself. You will kill yourself. And I think that is what we're seeing. A lot of self-inflicted wounds by the Democratic Labour Party, particularly after the crossing of the leader of the opposition. And if you're a serious member of the Democratic Labour Party, and this is not to impugn the leader of the opposition, but if you're a serious member of the party at any level, you have to question, you have to do an analysis. Has there been an addition in terms of our chances, or has there been a lessening? And it looks to me that these early results are suggesting there's a lessening. So I do not think Ralph Thorne is popular enough to carry. I don't know if he will survive by the time the election is called, because even after this by-election was called, you saw another bleeding in terms of the party. And I think you got to fix these dynamics. You got to capture the imagination of people. That is what I talk about strategy.
No, Dr. Armstrong, based on the numbers we've seen and the crunches, we've been able to bring up some of the comparisons.
Yeah.
And as Peter mentioned, there's been a swing away from
Yeah.
the DLP in some instances. Your response?
I think now is the time to take defeat with your chin up. And I do definitely feel it's a time for introspection within the party. And indeed, a sound analysis post-mortem definitely will be undertaken, because it is just, as would have rightly been said, a referendum, not just on the leadership of the government, but on the leadership of the party. And I think that if we don't go back and listen to what the electorate in St. James North have told us, we will be doing a disservice as it relates to becoming the alternative government in this country at this point in time.
Now, this is a small reflection of what we would see on the national scale, but what would that introspection look like as
Yeah.
you move forward on your path to Parliament for the Democratic Labour Party?
I think in my capacity as a researcher, I definitely do feel focus groups are needed. Focus groups within the party, but equally focus groups within the community. So as the government runs their parish speaks, I think it will be an opportune time for us to head out into the community and undertake some solid research to hear the views of the electorate, not just within St. James North, but across the country. And I do feel an evidence-based approach at this point in time is our way to, because we have rebuilt and we are rebuilding, but it will definitely lay a solid foundation for us moving forward as viable candidates and a viable government in the near future. But it is time to take this defeat with the chin up and move forward.
Now, I posed this question to Senator Thompson, and Peter said he thought it was a little unfair, so I will balance the scales and pose the question to you as well. Based on the figures we're seeing and what's the patterns and trends,
Yeah.
what do you think the Barbados Labour Party has done, if anything, right?
I think they ran in a strong seat, to be perfectly honest, and Peter rightfully said it. Historically, for the last 34 years, the seat has belonged to the Barbados Labour Party. I think it probably, in reflection again, and I would always want the Democratic Labour Party to win, and I will always speak of the Democratic Labour Party winning, because what is your party if you don't believe in it? But in reflection again, I definitely do feel with it being a stronghold of the Barbados Labour Party, it may have been insurmountable for us to climb that mountain at this point in time. But I do know Felicia is a fighter. And I do think from tomorrow she will be back on the ground again. It is time, as I said, to win over the hearts of Barbadians. We still have time to continue our path towards the steps of Parliament. I do believe it is possible for my party, and I definitely do think that we have to push ahead at this point in time.
Now, Senator Thompson, we heard this repeated numerous times on the campaign trail, from the Prime Minister to the last representative for the area, Edmund Hinkson, in terms of not necessarily counting your eggs before they hatch. They talked about making sure about the ballot boxes not starting at 6 o'clock with any votes in them. And I feel did not take for granted that you needed to continue to pound the pavement, even though, this has been a strong seat for the greater part of the last 30 years or so. What's happening within the camp at this time, to your mind, based on what you're seeing?
If I may, I think that the Democratic Labour Party has to ask itself why its own supporters are not voting. Why it could not, and George said it repeatedly, Dr. Brathwaite, capturing the imagination. Why are they not capturing the imagination of people who are core Democratic Labour Party supporters? SA4 tends to be their strongest box. Their performance in even that box is down over the others. You have to bear in mind that during the course of the campaign, the Democratic Labour Party really is clearly fighting very hard not to win. And it was good to see their representative flip her narrative, because at the beginning she was confident of victory. But I hope that the rest of the party is willing to learn the lessons, because only one or two might be. Let's face it, you had them saying this was a referendum. It is. We're seeing the results of the referendum, but equally, it wasn't just a referendum for the Barbados Labour Party, it was one for the Dems. What does it mean now for the Democratic Labour Party, given the numerous parties it is now split into? And what does it mean for its leadership, knowing that this leader was not a popular leader to begin with? You cannot forget that during the course of the campaign, you had a candidate on the radio upset, indignant, hurt, embarrassed, distressed. that she found out that she would no longer be the Democratic Labour Party's candidate. She heard it on the radio. Tricia Watson says she learned that she was fired from the Senate in the news. How do you treat people like that? How do you do it? Without even basic courtesy to professionals who carried your banner? And Demott, Renette Demott, I think her name is, I'm sure, Renette Demott, asked a pertinent question. She says, if they will not follow the constitution of the party, will they follow the constitution of the country? These are deeply, deeply troubling indicators of what is going on within the Democratic Labour Party. You talk about rebuilding. The Democratic Labour Party is still running on the legacy of a dead Errol Barrow. Even poor Dujon was on the platform saying that she get secondary, tertiary education because of Errol Barrow. Poor girl. I mean, that's utterly ridiculous. The truth is, the Barbados Labour Party had to return the tertiary education that the Democratic Labour Party took away. So something is wrong with their narrative. Then this thing about democracy being under threat and the Prime Minister's ability, it's her way or the highway. It is clear that if you disagree with Ralph Thorne, you get locked out, no matter what you have done to help the Democratic Labour Party, no matter how many miles you walk with Errol Barrow, no matter if you supported it in their worst times or the best times, even if you're an old woman like me, the gate is locked against you and you can go outside a wee-wee in a bottle. I mean, this is what is going on, and they need to understand why it is people were not prepared to support them. It is for these reasons.
Okay, I asked you to share with us what you thought the feeling would be in the party. Let's hope that when we come out for this interview, I'm going to get the response that I wanted on this one. We're heading back out to Crystal Hoyt, whom I'm told has been able to secure an interview with a member of the Barbados Labour Party. Crystal.
Tisha, I'm here with Minister Carrie Simmons. Tell me your thoughts about these early results so far.
Well, two things really. First of all, it indicates to me fairly clearly that the Democratic Labour Party and its candidate has not resonated with the people of St. James North. I am not a mathematician, but I believe that the returns that we are seeing is suggesting that there is a swing in favor of government as opposed to against government, and that swing probably could be in the vicinity of 3 to 4%. The question obviously is going to be asked why, because against all the noise and the criticisms and the grievances that we heard from the Democratic Labour Party with regard to the policies of the government, one would have expected that if this was a substantive set of criticism, that people would be engaging with the opposition. I think that this is bearing out another issue, and that is that the grievance politics of the Democratic Labour Party of today is not working for Barbadians. You cannot just come and complain about every single thing. You cannot, without any shred of evidence, condemn a whole cabinet and the Prime Minister of the country continually every night for being corrupt, for being an oppressive government. These are things that require some substantive evidence. There's been no engagement on matters which are very, very important to the future of Barbados. So the Democratic Labour Party's platform has been utterly silent on the future of the energy sector. How do we make renewable energy work more effectively to ensure that the cost of living in this country comes down? But in the absence of that, they say, oh, the cost of living is high, as though that is the be-all and end-all of it, when the cost of living is an issue in the United States itself. It's an issue in Canada, in Canada's past election. It was an issue in Trinidad and all around the world. They do not make any contact with the critical issue of climate change. How climate, for example, is now impacting on the agricultural sector. And that is a major concern for countries all around the planet. But this Democratic Labour Party, I don't think, has had one single speaker who's uttered the word climate change, except to rubbish it as an issue, as they have rubbish resilience, as they have rubbish sustainability. But again, I ask the question, how do we live in this new environment where the climate is changing if we don't try to be as sustainable as possible? And is everybody else not also speaking the language of sustainability?
You spoke about what the Democratic Labour Party did wrong. What do you think the Barbados Labour Party did right then?
I think that exactly that. I think that the appearance of success in this campaign and this election so far is that we are saying to the people in a very serious way the things that are concerning them and talking to them about issues that they're trying to grapple with and helping them to understand where solutions can be found. And we have never shied away from this. So that every month we do, for example, a parish speech or have an ideas forum where we're inviting Barbadians to sit and talk with us. And we have a prime minister without a filter speaking to you about the issues that are affecting you and trying to get you to understand that, yes, water resource management in Barbados is critical, for example, in this constituency and across the north of the island. But guess what? It is also linked to the cost of the amount of debt that the country has and the borrowing that we must do. And that is part of the reason why the Prime Minister must constantly be engaging with the wider world, because for every kilometer of new mains that we must put down, we got to look for $2.5 million. And therefore, if you had to do 1,500 kilometers of mains, you're looking at billions of dollars. Where does this money come from? But if we don't replace the mains, then we can't provide water to the people of Barbados because we're losing 25 to 30% of the water that the Water Authority produces every single day in rusty mains. These are issues that we have talked through with this country. But again, we have an opposition that is failing to make contact. And I believe that the people of Barbados are recognizing that the Democratic Labour Party is becoming increasingly irrelevant. And you are seeing that in the fall off of their support in many of the boxes that you are going to see come back tonight. In the box that I canvassed in Trents and so on, I believe the results are going to be very similar. And it is a sad thing because it is placing an increasing burden on the people of Barbados now to be their own opposition, because there's no main opposition party which is credibly putting a case before the country.
Minister Simmons, thank you for making time.
No problem. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Minister Simmons here at the Garden Greenwich Primary School. We'll have more results for you soon. Tisha?
All right, thank you so much, Crystal, holding it down for us and speaking there with those at the counting station. Peter, I know that you wanted to get into some of the figures. We have some comparisons that we can share with our audience.
Yeah, so I just thought it would be useful to give the audience that's viewing an opportunity to see the kind of information that we have to get a review. Basically, we're looking at, well, at this point in time, the state of play is 1317 votes to 219 votes to 2 to 11, which is, one could say, well, certainly if you were to look at it in this way, right, you're seeing it here on the screen, so there's 85% versus 14%. To Dujon, and then of course we have the other two candidates who would be on 2 votes and 10 votes respectively. So that is the state of play as it stands now with 4 boxes in. We can also look at the electoral swing overall, which is an interesting point or point of interest. The Democratic Labour Party is on a minus 5.2% swing. The Barbados Labour Party is on a 4.3% swing. And the Cadres projection, which I've included here for you, shows that at this rate, the anticipated outturn for the for Chad Blackman for the Barbados Labour Party will be 85% support, which is a 4% improvement on the previous election. For the Democratic Labour Party, it's a 5.2%, sorry, a decrease of 5.2% over the previous election. And the projection for them would be at this stage looking like something like 14% that we're seeing for the Democratic Labour Party at this point. I'm sorry, let me just get the actual screen again. Sorry, 18% support versus 84% is what we are seeing at this stage in terms of an overall projection. The projection ultimately takes the swing within a polling division and aggregates it over the course of the entire election in that constituency, so we can get some idea of what the projection is likely to look at. Over the course of this time, we can expect it to be moderated, and it might come down, but this is where we are at this stage.
Okay, let me jump in here,
it's really
Peter.
impressive.
More results are coming in. Let's head back.
Okay, we're back with another round of results. I will. We'll put that way, squeeze up in there. All right. 162, 35.
So you can see presiding officer, Mr. Leonard Walters, currently writing in the results. Chad Blackman, SB1, A to H, 162 votes. Felicia Dujon, 35. Alex Mitchell, 1. Stephanie Williams, 1.
Oh Lord!
SB1, I to Z, Chad Blackman, 113. Felicia Dujon, 23. Alex Mitchell, 1. And Stephanie Williams, 1. SB2, Chad Blackman, A to H, 135 votes. Felicia Dujon, 12 votes. Alex Mitchell, 0. And Stephanie Williams, 0. No spoil votes. SB2, I to Z, Chad Blackman, 157 votes. Felicia Dujon, 13. Alex Mitchell, 0. And Stephanie Williams, 0.
So the results for the next two polling districts. First, SB1, box A to H. It's Blackman at 162, Dujon at 35, Mitchell at 1, and Williams at 1. There was one spoil in that box. At box SB1, I to Z, you have Blackman at 113, Dujon at 23, Mitchell at 1, Williams at 1. No spoils. At SB2 now, you have A to H, 135 for Blackman, 12 for Dujon, 0 for Mitchell, 0 for Williams, no spoils. And final for this round, box SB2 I to Z, it's 157 for Blackman, 13 for Dujon, 0 for Mitchell, 0 for Williams, and no spots. I'll be back with you again shortly.
There you have it, Tisha. Another set of results here at the Gordon Greenwich Primary School.
Thank you so much, Crystal. The results, more results coming in. I'm going to head on over to Dr. Brathwaite as we get some of those figures together to be able to share more comparisons with you. Dr. Brathwaite, your thoughts?
Again, running through the form. Indeed, if I'm reading this thing correctly, even there seems even a pickup in terms of SB2, where that has been perhaps the weakest area, or one of the weaker areas for the Barbados Labour Party. Peter can correct me, but it seems as though that Chadno has made a significant improvement there, and that is telling. That is very telling. True to form, I don't know what more I can say except that I wonder at this stage what is the leader of the opposition saying to himself. Indeed, part of leadership is to recognize that even if you do not have all the ammunition and all the tools, you have to know how to get them, how to identify them and use them to your advantage. So was he given all the commands without the appropriate internal information? I know there are persons within that party that have some knowledge in terms, certainly in terms of organizing things. Did he rely on them? I'm beginning to ask these questions now because realistically, with all that's happening globally and regionally, reflected within the context of Barbados, with all the talk in terms of particularly crime and the bread and butter issues that we've mentioned, for there not have to be some decline, but rather an increase in the Barbados Labour Party, tells me no, the people definitely were not listening to the Dems. That is an indictment.
All right, Peter, can we spend a little time on voter turnout?
Yeah, voter turnout is, well, that's one of the things that we're looking at, and the voter turnout has, well, let me just give you the essentially the lay of the land in terms of increases and decreases. In terms of the polling divisions, we've seen voter turnout increase in SA1, a decrease in SA2, SA3, SA4, and now we're seeing an increase in SB1, and an increase in SB1 and essentially neutral in SB2. So the voter turnout has moved, I would say, more significantly in SA4 down, but otherwise it's more or less holding. When we get to the end, we will look at what is the realistic voter registration versus what is the recorded voter registration, and we'll be able to give an analysis. But for now, it doesn't appear to be significantly different to what it was in the previous election. But I think the big news in terms of what we're seeing now is the overall enhanced swing in favor of the Barbados Labour Party at this stage. I'm particularly impressed with SB2, which is the Western box. That is showing 8% swing in favor of the Barbados Labour Party, which is really quite impressive. In that instance, the 8% decrease for the Democratic Labour Party corresponds exactly because there was no voting outside the BLP and the DLP conversation. But yeah, I would say that SB2 thus far is Chad Blackman's best improvement, something about which he can be happy. The SB1, a 2% swing in favor of the Barbados Labour Party. So far, the only deterioration we've seen really is in SA4, but otherwise there have been healthy improvements, and the overall positive swing for the Barbados Labour Party is now at 5%. We're still projecting 85% support for Chad Blackman going in, and I can tell you that as a first-timer going into politics, I mean, you can't want it any better than this. You know, if you look back at the kind of support that David Thompson took when he went into St. John, when he took the support, and I'm going to get the numbers shortly, and certainly his wife would have taken in the passing of David Thompson. These numbers are significantly similar, and it's not in a situation where nobody died, you know. So normally you would expect this kind of a reaction where someone dies and there's a voting loyalty, a sympathy vote, so to speak. That's not the case there. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, Eddie Hinkson is alive and well, and you're still getting this level of support for Chad Blackman. So I think he can give himself a pat on the back, having done reasonably well as a first-timer going in, and recorded impressive swings in favor in a situation where a seat this strong should not really improve. Theoretically speaking, it should not have really improved if we look at the theory as we understand it.
Would you say that this voting pattern is customary based on established norms, what we're seeing?
I would say no. No, I would say no. And as I said, I looked at, certainly I looked at the by-elections that we've had. And essentially there are two types of by-elections that you have. By-elections where someone dies, and what you can say is optional by-elections. The reality is that most of the by-elections that we have had in Barbados have been by-elections where the representative has died. Interestingly enough, before these two, I would say the last optional by-election that we had was when Prime Minister Motley's father decided he didn't want to be in politics anymore, and he stepped out. In that instance, Billy Miller won the by-election fairly easily, and I think that her numbers were comparable to his. But all of the elections that we have had after the by-elections have usually been when someone died. When Arabara died, when David Thompson died, when Tom Adams died. And in all of those instances, and I think we had one where Maxwell was deemed ineligible to run as a candidate. But in all of these instances, you would normally see a sympathy reaction that essentially puts the incumbent, the person coming in a better position than the individual who left it. But we've not had a lot of optional elections. The last one was St. George North. That was a COVID election. And I think that the reduction in participation was significant. The voter turnout was down over 2018. And I think that the support level for the Barbados Labour Party also fell. This is a far better performance, and what it says to me is that the BLP seems to be back to its old pre-COVID self, and the post-COVID or the COVID realities of people saying, I'm not going out to vote because it's just too risky, didn't seem to manifest itself on this occasion, and as a result you're seeing an improvement. So I would say it's uncharacteristic.
With that said, Dr. Armstrong, how do you reconcile the support that you're saying declined from the base of the Democratic Labour Party?
Yeah, I think our voters are traditionally emotional. And as I said, I do get quite emotional about the party, and I think it's the same sentiments that our voters share. So it's much like a family, when there is a disagreement, everybody gets really, really personal, and, until somebody comes and makes amends, it'll be very difficult, I think, for us to really regroup. But I can safely say that I am committed to that cause. I can safely say that I am committed to going into the constituencies to find out what is happening. And I do feel as if it is high time to lend my expertise to my party in that area. But yeah, there's nothing that can be said right now to, even begin to cushion the blow that we have felt at this point in time. And from here on, it's just a matter of rebuilding and reconnecting with our supporters.
Senator Thompson, what are the lessons to be learned there?
First of all, that the anti-Mia Motley rhetoric really now has to end in the Democratic Labour Party, because the public has now rejected it in consecutive elections. This notion, I spoke to the morality issue earlier, that they're engaging in the most immoral, behavior that is not ethical or moral, locking out people, acting unconstitutionally and so on, and then trying to run a morality campaign. It's absolutely ridiculous. It resonates with no one, especially when you have had a former minister who has been convicted in relation to issues of this sort. You cannot then be accusing other people of corruption. There is the fact too that, and I want to make this point, and at the beginning of the night, the representative of the Democratic Labour Party was confident, and one of the things that she said was the sort of feedback that they had been getting. The first election in which I canvassed was in the 1970s. The first election in which I ran was 1991. I learned something that the Democratic Labour Party, particularly inexperienced candidates and canvassers, need to know. When Barbadians are polite, respectful people. There are very few people who will tell you first, mistress, I say, damn, you better left my door, or you can't get nothing in here, or whatever. People generally are polite. They will invite you in. They will offer you drinks. If you ask them a leading question, they will go along with it. Yes, you don't find Mia Motley as a dictator. Well, she's a little rough. She could be rough sometimes, and so they will say things if you prompt them. What you must not mistake is criticism for support or votes. The fact that people criticize the Barbados Labour Party, they will vent about things that they're not happy with, but that doesn't mean that they're supporting you. And unless you are able to transform discontent or criticism into actual votes, then the fact that people are venting is not to be mistaken for the fact that they support you. Equally, if you get on the radio every night and tell people things like, well, if you get a digital ID card, something gonna go very wrong with you. This is what they're going to use to the boogie people come in and whatever nonsense they said. And people get digital ID cards. Absolutely nothing goes wrong. You use them in the same way you use other ID cards. And I could give several other examples. If you keep saying things that people can prove you to be a liar. So you say Mia Motley is a dictator. While the clear dictatorship is at George Street, you are on the radio every night criticizing her. You have BLP TV criticizing her. You have Weeks. You have Franklin. You have McLean. You have all kinds of people on the radio, on TV, on social media, in chats, saying the most vile things about her. The public sees the woman every day. They know who they're dealing with. They know that she says things firmly when she has to say them, and she'll laugh and make a joke with you. The notion that democracy in Barbados is dead, or that there is no freedom of speech, or the Prime Minister is bullying people, and you can't say what you think is absolute rubbish.
All right.
And that is what people are telling them here. Stop talking nonsense.
Thanks, Thompson.
I'd like to say
Senator.
again, the Democratic Labour Party and its canvassers do not go to constituents speaking about whether or not the Prime Minister is a dictator. Please, let's just
got messages from the houses.
Let's just put that aside. Now, I've heard the good senator mention
the first thing you have to do is face the facts.
I've heard the good senator, and I've let her speak, mention the Constitution on 2 occasions. Presently, this government has not brought a constitution back to this country. So I think making reference to the constitution at a time like this, Senator, you have had your opportunity to speak. I asked for the figures earlier with respect to the sewage tax and with respect to the taxes at the pump. You have not given us an answer. Please, you have spoken and you have had the floor, you have had your time. Of course, the government owes the citizens of this country a constitution, and I have allowed you to sit here and showboat, and rightly so, you have had a victory. Kudos to you and your party. But after May 21st, after tonight, Barbadians still have to wake up tomorrow, pay bills, go to work. You mentioned the increase in wages, but it was an increase in a daily rate, which means that businesses can cut the hours of workers in this country. Please, Senator, you have had your time to showboat. The election is done. You have won. Congrats to you. Let us get back to the real issues facing Barbadians in this country. We want to know about the revenue.
Same narrative, the same lines from the campaign that people just made a decision on.
But Senator, you haven't given us the figures. This is the thing. I spoke about integrity as well. I spoke about the integrity legislation. You have not spoken about that. The Barbados Labour Party promised us integrity legislation, Senator.
All right. Was passed.
I think we have to bring back a little bit of order to our discussion. Obviously, it's understandable in terms of where the conversation is going, but we definitely want to allow everybody to speak. For you, though, we talked about the lessons
Definitely.
to be learned. You talked about introspection.
Definitely.
For those people who are still supporting the Democratic Labour Party, what is your message to them in terms of holding strain, as Bajans would say, and hanging in there?
I would say to take heart. A smooth sea never made a skillful sailor. These are difficult waters that we're navigating at this point in time. As a party, as a country, we've seen the economic issues. Politically, we see the issues within our party. We understand. My question is, how do we move forward as a country? Now that the Barbados Labour Party has demonstrated its continued power, how do we move towards a path of peace in this country? And I said it last night. how do we, even as we speak so emotionally about our party, because I am just as passionate as the senator about her party as I am about mine, but how do we move forward now? You know, and I think for us as a party, as an opposition party still, until the next election is called, we will have a stronger opposition then. But still as an opposition party now, we have requested certain figures. I know the senator is in a position to get those figures. And I think it is still the charge of the Democratic Labour Party to provide an opposition in this country. And I would like the figures so that we could tell our citizens exactly how the taxation, how the money is being spent, how it is impacting us. And I know that, you know, Chad will soon have a seat in the lower house. You know, how does he intend to bring this transparency to the electorate?
All right, let's head back to Crystal. We're told that we're heading back. Crystal, what can you tell us?
Prime Minister Motley has arrived here at the Garden Greenwich Primary School. She is greeting the Barbados Labour Party supporters. Edmund Hinkson is also here. As you would recall, he resigned from this constituency, triggering this by-election. And they have both come down to the Garden Greenwich Primary School really to get a first-hand look as the final 6 boxes come in here.
So you've obviously moved position.
Prime Minister Motley taking some photos with supporters. Prime Minister Motley is making her way inside the Garden Greenwich Primary School.
Has a right. Big lady has a right. Oh my God.
Barbados Labour Party MP Colin Jordan for St. Peter is also with the PM. Deputy Prime Minister Santia Bradshaw is also on site. Chad Blackman, Barbados Labour Party candidate, has arrived at the Garden Greenwich Primary School, here embracing Deputy PM Santia Bradshaw. Prime Minister Motley and BLP candidate Chad Blackman sharing an embrace here just outside Garden Greenwich Primary School as they await the final 6 boxes.
We going big. We going big. We going big. Go. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision.
Barbados Labour Party candidate Chad Blackman and Edmund Hinkson, the previous representative for this year, who served this constituency for the last 12 years. And they're heading inside. Again, we have 6 ballot boxes remaining.
Thank you so much, Crystal. Make their way inside. We just want to remind you, this is all with the compliments And Dorothy with the compliments of great health words, agent for Omega Excel and probiotics. Stay with us.
Big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, Chad. Hardworking, Chad. Dedicated, Chad. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman.
Of the Barbados Labour Party making their way into the inner environs of the Gordon Greenwich Primary School. We have a number of boxes left. I believe there are 6 boxes or so left. We have some results in as well. So here is a view of what's happening in real time at the primary school. The candidate for the Barbados Labour Party up front with some of the other members. Of course, as our team switched positions, you could see how things changed in terms of numbers coming in. Let's take a peek now at some of those numbers if you're just tuning in. Let's take a peek at some of those numbers that we would have shared with you before in terms of comparisons with the figures as they came in.
Oh Lord!
As you can see, Chad Blackman, 1,884 votes to Felicia Dujon's 302 votes, Alex Mitchell's 4 votes, and Stephanie Williams 12 votes, with about 6 more boxes to be accounted for. We also saw a number of interesting improvements in favor of the Barbados Labour Party as compared to a swing away from the Democratic Labour Party, which we had discussed. Now, coming up tomorrow on Q100.7 FM, we continue the conversation with Peter Wickham, of course. He will be on. So at this current time, 85.6% of the votes. Let's take you back to the counting station at this time where there's much more happening. I believe our Crystal Hoyt is standing by to get a further update. We will reconnect as soon as we can. So back over to you, Peter, in terms of all that we're seeing happening. The Barbados Labour Party, they've moved in their numbers.
Yeah, and you know, it looks as though I haven't heard a concession. But
okay, hold on one moment, Peter. Let's go back. Let's see if we can figure out what's happening here on the ground.
I can talk now. I can talk.
Okay.
Prime Minister Motley here getting her account of the votes, the different boxes that have been called so far. As I mentioned earlier, there are 6 outstanding boxes, but she's getting her personal account of the boxes that we have in hand so far, and they're doing their counts here. That's what you're watching now. PM Motley, Barbados Labour Party member Colin Jordan, Minister Kerry Simmons, and she's questioning whether SE1A to H, SE1A to H has been called as yet. There are no results. No results for that particular box as yet.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Crystal. keep an eye out for what's happening there on the ground at the Gordon Greenwich Primary School. Most certainly keeping track on an individual basis, not irregular at all. Peter.
Yeah, but I mean, I said not irregular. Right now, Felicia Dujon is on 302 votes, and that is a significant, excuse me, a significant number. My concern is that thus far, the worst performance in St. James North was in 2022, where her colleague in the Democratic Labour Party gained 608 votes. At this rate, she is in danger of performing worse. She is in danger of being the worst performing candidate that has been ever fielded in St. James North, and that's frightening. Right now, she essentially has 3 boxes within which to get 300 votes. And I don't know that that is the kind of record that a politician easily recovers from. So it's a regular election, but there's an irregularity in terms of that level of performance. And then if we flip it and we look at Chad Blackman, I was saying earlier that he is performing as though there was a person that left that died and there was a sympathy vote. And that's significant. And I was looking back at some data in the break. So in the St. John 2011 election, actually Mara Thompson went in with 89%, which is what he's very, very close to going in with now at this stage. And she had a 5% swing on her husband's performance after he died. St. John in 1987, David Thompson went in with 89%. He had a similar swing to Errol Barrow, who passed away. So you're seeing that comparison between St. John in 2011 and St. John in 1987 when someone died. The St. Thomas result, though, was slightly different in the sense that we had 2 by-elections in St. Thomas. The optional one, which was in 2002, and there we saw a deterioration in Barbados Labour Party support. 8% deterioration. And then you had the 1985 St. Thomas when Tom Adams would have passed away and had to be replaced at that point in time with Cynthia Ford. And she went in with 55% and a substantial deterioration on Tom Adams, which was a minus 12%. That was a very unusual election, but in a sense that foreshadowed what was to come in 1986, because the 1986 was a huge landslide, and I think that we saw the dimension there. So just to give a sense of the comparison in terms of by-election, it's definitely behaving more like a by-election after someone has passed, as distinct from one of these optional by-elections, like when the St. Thomas MP was replaced, and also the one that we're seeing now. So that's the comparison.
Names switched up.
Sorry?
David Simmons.
That's right, yeah, David Simmons would have been 1985, and then 2002 would have been the Cynthia Ford. Yeah, my apologies. Yeah.
Yeah, for you, Dr. Brathwaite.
Pardon me?
Your feedback.
In terms of, give me the repeat.
In terms of where we are with the numbers.
The numbers are, they're expressing a view that, generally speaking, in St. James North, the people are not only happy with the Barbados Labour Party, but you can see that they fully embrace, to a large extent, Chad Blackman. And as I said, he's ambitious, but he's also a person with character and service. And I think if he continues in that vein, he will be around for a while, and you never know, he might be at the top of the pecking order. In terms of what it means for the Democratic Labour Party, it means that, and I don't want to be unkind in any way, because generosity begins at home. I think the people in the members in the Democratic Labour Party, and I suspect they will have a conference in August, I think they really need to sort it themselves. Indeed, I would suggest that they'll find someone 35 to perhaps 45 years old that has a vision for this country and want to see where it would be in the next 25 years. Someone who's willing to listen and to recognize that you can't do it all yourself, and you certainly don't have all the answers, and you get the right people on your side and willing to support you, and they look to ready themselves. They're going to compete the next election, but ready themselves with that young person. Persons my age and above, we are on our way out, however we look at it. And if we still want to pretend that we have the answers when we see the changes going on and we're not listening, we're going to run into trouble. And I think these numbers are telling me that is what occurred. These numbers are telling me that there is clearly a disconnect between the Democratic Labour Party, its membership, and what the expectations of the people of St. James North. There is a disconnect.
And that's where I was going, Senator Thompson, because St. James North is not some insulated community
Precisely.
that is not connected in any way to the rest of Barbados. What do you believe this says about the population generally and how people feel about voting, the parties, and generally what's happening in the realm of politics here on the island?
Well, I'm a little nervous to speak now because the quality of my analysis apparently is so disturbing that I've been accused of showboating. But let me say that for the public, the data that is being asked for is available in the estimates of Barbados. It is no secret. Anybody who is a candidate or politician can read the estimates of Barbados, which are available online, so every member of the public can read them. There is a constitution of Barbados. I think it is time for the Democratic Labour Party, starting tonight, to throw out its talking points and look for new ones, because I can still see the talking points from the campaign being followed very slavishly when the result is saying, we can't about that there, that's what we're talking about, we're interested in other things. And really that's what you heard people saying. In relation to the future, I think that is a great question. I would start by saying, one, the Democratic Labour Party has to ask what its future is. It has to ask how it can course connect. It has to ask what lessons it is being taught that it has ignored. What are the narratives that it is running that have been rejected, that they too need to reject and move to new ones. The Barbados Labour Party, I too am emotional about my party, but I'm more emotional about Barbados. And I want to see an opposition that shows up for an election campaign, that puts serious issues in a serious way that can excite the imagination, to use Dr. Brathwaite's expression, of the public. So I want to see a strong performing opposition. That has nothing to do with numbers. It has to do with the quality of their presentations. So I think that, and the leadership, in my view, the Democratic Labour Party has to ask itself if it has the right leader. That is a very real question that would have to be on the table tonight and going forward. But it is not my question to answer. I have a perspective, but it's not my question to answer. What I would say in relation to the Barbados Labour Party is that they need to be very careful and not allow this excellent result. I mean, they had a fantastic candidate, and I think a lot of it is personal vote. I think that it was, as the opposition said, a referendum on the government, so people are saying generally we are satisfied. But the Barbados Labour Party must not be lured into thinking that everybody is happy and all is well. There are issues that the government needs to address. There are legitimate concerns that members of the public have. Some of them were answered during the campaign, some were not. And I want to see, therefore, BLP members of Parliament get on the ground, walk their constituencies, talk to people, and really address the public's concerns. The public is signaling satisfaction with the macro performance, and they are to be lauded for the work that they have done. They must not, however, be deceived into thinking that all is well and that is the end of the matter. There are things that need to be addressed. I believe that the Barbados Labour Party is a disciplined organization, and I believe that they are also a learning institution, and that is those 2 points, separate the BLP from the DLP. And therefore that I know Prime Minister Motley is not going to allow the party to rest on its laurels and believe that this result is typical and that they don't have any work to do. The party has a lot of work to do as a government and as a political party, and I urge them to do it and to work very hard on the issues that need addressing. But generally, I think this is a referendum. It's a signal of great confidence in the Prime Minister's leadership and that of the Barbados Labour Party generally.
All right, let's head back out. Our Crystal Hoyt is on the ground. She's at the Gordon Greenwich Primary School, where we're awaiting the last few boxes, the numbers to come in. We'll update you on some numbers, but I understand that she's been able to get an interview with the gentleman who his resignation triggered this entire by-election. Edmund Hinkson is standing by. Crystal?
Edmund Hinkson, the former representative for St. James North. Based on these early results, how are you feeling?
Well, Crystal, the results are no longer early. We've almost completed the vote, and essentially what we expected, that the Democratic Labour Party's vote in St. James North has declined even from the low of 600, which they received in both 2018 and 22 election. It shows the quality, absolute quality and suitability of our candidate, Chad Blackman, to be the representative. And Chad has come with developmental plans. He's been around for, the last 14 months in the constituency, meeting people, forming relationships. We expect a tremendous amount from him in Parliament and, of course, continuing as a minister. These results have shown the absolute quality of our campaign, led from the front by the Prime Minister and, of course, the Deputy Prime Minister as campaign manager. And, the fact that over the last, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, we focused on issues of concern to the people of Barbados, as well as issues relating to the constituency. And the whole Barbados Labour Party team came out and assisted, and shows how we were able to mobilize everyone as Team BLP, but also the St. James North BLP, assisting, of course, as well in this election. The results, of course, is validation of the record of the Barbados Labour Party in this constituency and of myself over the last 12 years as parliamentary representative, even though our record was rubbished every night by the Democratic Labour Party. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in this constituency know otherwise what the Barbados Labour Party did and what I personally did for them over the last 12 years as Member of Parliament. And finally, the results here tonight show the absolute lack of quality of the Democratic Labour Party, which is now essentially a pressure group. That's the truth. That's what these results show, that the negativity of that organization is just not cutting it. This election showed a playbook of the 2018 campaign of the Democratic Labour Party, which has been absolutely rejected by the people of Barbados, because it was them that framed this election as a national referendum. And of course, the quality of their leadership has been totally exposed in this election. Thank you.
Thank you, former representative for St. James North, Edmund Hinkson. 6 boxes remaining, and I'll be back with you soon, Tisha.
Thank you, Crystal. Welcome back. Remember, this broadcast comes your way with the compliments of Great Health Works. Thank you so much for staying with us. Those of you tuned in on radio, if you're coming in on YouTube, I know there's much interest across the diaspora as well. We most certainly see you. We see your messages, and we encourage you to continue to stay with us. We're in here for the long haul. We're waiting for the last results. Heading back over, what do you say to the charge of the last representative? Let's go back to Crystal. I'm told final results.
Right, ladies and
Come to
gentlemen,
me, come to me.
press, invited guests, workers, we now have completed our last 6 boxes, tabulated and calculated, and deemed to be correct. I'll give you the score box by box, and then I'll give you the grand totals. Here goes. First box. For SC1, A to H, Blackman scored 205 votes. Dujon scored 25, Mitchell 1, and Williams 0. No spots. For box SC1 I to Z, Blackman scored 172, Dujon scored 36, Mitchell 1, and Williams 0. There was 1 spot in that box. I'll give her. For box SD1 A to I, Blackman scored 134, Dujon scored 41, Williams 1, Mitchell 1, Williams 3. There were 4 rejected, or spite, as we call them. For box SD1 J to Z, Blackman 122, Dujon 36, Mitchell 0, Williams 3. 1 spot in that box.
He got 134.
For box SE1 A to H, Blackman scored 96, Dujon scored 12, Mitchell scored 0, Williams scored 0. There was 1 spot. Final box SE1 I to Z, Blackman scored 110, Dujon scored 16, Mitchell 0, Williams 1. 1 spot in that box. I'll now give you the totals as calculated by my team. And make the final closure of this process. The results of the poll held for the election of a member to serve in the House of Assembly for the constituency of St. James North is as follows. Mr. Blackman, Chad Blackman, scored 2,724 votes. 2,723 votes. 720 votes. Ms. Felicia Dujon scored 468 votes. Mr. Alex Mitchell scored 7 votes. And Ms. Stephanie Williams scored 21 votes. For a total of 3,231 votes. There were 12 spots in total. The total number of votes polled for all the constituencies was therefore 3,231. I therefore declare that Mr. Alex Blackman, Mr. Chad Blackman, I therefore declare that Mr. Chad Blackman to be elected and to be duly chosen representative for the constituency of St. James North to serve.
All right, we lost our connection there. However, you heard the returning officer giving some final figures.
We going big, we going big. big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home.
Thank God because
Big man, big heart, big action.
team strength. But ultimately, he allowed for the people of St. James North to see it fit to elect me as their parliamentary representative. And of course, I also want to thank my parents, my family, but of course, the team Barbados Labour Party, who have continued to be an anchor, and to the Prime Minister, and to the General Secretary of the party, President, my campaign manager and campaign team. I owe it all to them. But this is really a victory for the people of St. James North. This by-election has been one that has been fought on ensuring that people understand why now Chad Blackman. Platform was anchored on the idea that in order to serve people, you must bring tangible programs to them. But I didn't just start there. Of course, we had predecessors, and I want to take the opportunity to thank Edmund Hinkson, who I now take over from. He has been a mentor. He has been there to guide me. And last year, when I first came back from Europe into Barbados, every single Sunday, this man here took me around and introduced me to the people of St. James North. And I see this as, yes, a victory, but now the real hard work begins. I've made a lot of commitments to the people of St. James North and to the public, of course, of Barbados. And it's really now to get on to the business of work. Last night I said, knowing our Prime Minister, once sworn in, there's no room for taking a break off. So even though it's a marriage, there's no honeymoon. And therefore tomorrow starts, of course, work. And I also want to say I've thought about it. To whom much is given, much is expected. And for example, even on Friday afternoon, I'll have my first constituency clinic for the people of St. James North to be able to come and say what they have to say, their issues, etc. Because why? As I said, things must now go into motion. But this is a long journey, and this is a commitment for me to ensure that I can give of my best to the people of this constituency as long as I have breath going forward. So I really want to thank everybody.
Mr. Minister, you're now a member of Parliament and not a senator. What will get your attention first as an MP?
Well, the first thing, as I said, the initiative, the great initiative, focusing on the elderly. Because why? In order for us to go forward, there has to be a sense of looking back and tapping into the intellect and the ideas and the experience that our elderly have. Once we can anchor that, the second thing then will be the agricultural initiative very, very shortly. Because why? In order for us to really move forward as the community, food, I've said it tremendously over the period of the campaign. We must ensure that food security is now anchored at the constituency level, but it's a focus for national development. And therefore getting our farmers to now move in a direction that allows for them to now maximize what they're already doing. But building out that capacity is going to be key. Already we've had a number of consultations last week and this week for the farmers. So the thing is already started, but we're going to officially launch it at the end of this month so that people can understand where they're going.
Slamo, what most did you learn from this campaign?
A number of things. So I wouldn't say most, but one of the things that stood out for me is that the people of St. James North are very, very warm people. Last year when I first came, they opened their doors, their houses to me. But it also allowed for me to know that people want someone who they can rely on, someone who is accessible to them, and someone who will simply do what they say. The commitment is key. And that has anchored me. And it's one of the reasons why I've taken the campaign so seriously. People have said, Chad, we will give you the vote, but we expect you to deliver on what you've promised. And for me, whilst of course this is a more celebration, it's sobering to the point where I'm already thinking, what is my next step? So I'm so happy, Trevor, that you've asked that question because the team is already starting to mobilize what's next.
What are your emotions now? How are you feeling now since finally complaining?
It's a bit unreal. I must tell you, I've had many achievements in life, but this by far is humbling. Because to serve people is one thing, but to be able to persuade them that you are the person that can be their representative and they got up, elected you, I can't express to you in words of this.
What was the high point you think of your entire exercise? The high point of it, if you had to put your hand on any one thing, what would it be?
I think it would be today, people coming out and placing their vote. Persons were saying to me, Chad, you got this in the bag. As the Prime Minister always said, you ain't got it in the bag till you place those votes in the ballot box. And to see people coming to the polls, persons, young persons, first-time voters, it allowed for me to know people have confidence in you. But again, you say, when people put confidence in you, you have to deliver. And as I said, whilst this is very rewarding, it's also sobering because it means the expectation is high, and I have to deliver for the people. The second part of it is that people expect now a new level of representation across Barbados, and this is the party that is doing so. The Labour Party, of course, continues to be a party rooted in labour, party rooted in ensuring that people can have a better quality of life. And my team, all of us, I'm junior to this. So we've had the council of our Prime Minister, senior ministers, members of Parliament, and they have said to me, Chad, you can do this. This is what you can do. Here's things that perhaps you should consider. So you see me tonight as the elected MP for St. James North, but it wasn't just me that got here. It was everybody's effort that got me here. So that's the point I really want to hone in on. This is not a victory for Chad. It's a victory for the people of St. James North. And the Team Barbados Labour Party continues to resonate with our people, notwithstanding the challenges globally, notwithstanding the challenges regionally. This country is in safe hands with the Barbados Labour Party.
Madam Prime Minister?
Yeah, okay. Good evening, Prime Minister. You're smiling.
All right, we lost the connection there for a moment. We are going to reconnect as soon as we can. We'll reflect on the key takeaways on tonight's election as well. Let's head on back.
4% of the vote. It is an extraordinary performance for a first-time candidate. I think that a point was being made earlier by, I believe it was Peter Wickham, that typically when you see that kind of performance, it's usually, regrettably, at the instance of someone who was passed. But as you can see, Eddie Hinkson is very much alive to my right. So that this has been an extraordinary performance. It was not the Barbados Labour Party who first asserted that this was a referendum on the government's performance. It was the Democratic Labour Party who night after night asserted that. And the people of St. James North, I suppose, have spoken resoundingly, not just in favour of Chad, but Chad as the representative of the Barbados Labour Party in this constituency. This is not to say that the government is perfect. I've said over and over, we are not perfect. In fact, the challenges that we've had since coming to office, I never imagined in May 2018 that the challenges that we would face would go beyond the immediate economic and debt-related challenges that we inherited from the last decade. But the world in which we live is regrettably too much like 100 years ago in every respect, and the instability, and it is compounded by the reality of the climate. Night after night, you would have heard Santia make the point as well, that the roads that we have, we judge ourselves harshly as a party, and rightfully so. But the reality is that there was a deficit that we came in terms of road construction, and it was is compounded by the convection rain, the intensity of the rain that we're facing, that a lot of our roads were never built to these standards. So it is placing an inordinate burden on us all. I think that this election also speaks very clearly to the continued politics of grievance and misery and complaints. And don't get me wrong, an opposition has a right to make criticisms of a government. But when all you do is to criticize, attack, vilify, and in many instances borderline libel and defamation, then you have to begin to ask yourself, are you really listening to the people? This Barbados Labour Party government, and I will never forget it, when the cabinet was sworn in on the 27th of May, 2018. Next week will be 7 years. I promised this country that the confidence that they reposed in our government would not be abused. It has been a disheartening thing for me that while we have given everyone the fullest opportunity to be able to speak, while we have reduced the powers of a prime minister in the appointment of a head of state, in the appointment of judges, and a number of other things, that we continue to have this rhetoric because we now live in a world of fake news. And this thing here, because this now goes to what I call narrow casting, they believe that anything can go without having to be rooted in truth. I hope, I pray for this country that we will come to understand that there is wisdom in being rooted in facts and truth, and that there ought to be an engagement with the people that reflects hope. Yes, there are challenging times. We know the water rough. We know the waves rough out there, not just regionally, nationally, but globally. And there's some serious challenges that as a country we must come together with. And I hope that sober reflection will cause the Democratic Labour Party to come on board with us in solving these national issues, the first one of which relates to educational transformation, the second of which relates to crime. And we are not unique in this country. CARICOM has established, or is establishing in completion now, the CARICOM Educational Transformation Commission. Why? Because other countries are facing the same problems. Similarly, the George Bridge Declaration with respect to crime is largely as a result because other countries are facing worse problems in the region than we are with respect to crime. So I hope that this has given us pause on both sides. I am one that wants to say always to my colleagues, we must listen, we must learn, and we must lead. And if we listen and we learn and we lead and we remain rooted, we remain humble, I believe that we will continue to enjoy the confidence of the Barbadian people. Barbados does not live on Mars. It lives on Earth. On Earth, there have been cost of living issues, there have been supply disruption issues, there's been COVID, there are now geopolitical issues, there's no war. But for the most part, we've managed to keep this country literally insulated from the worst aspects of those things. And I believe that Chad Blackman, and I must tell you that in this campaign, I got a healthy set of respect and confidence for the manner in which the young socialists of the Barbados Labour Party comported themselves. Even before I called the election, they were on the ground canvassing. Chad, you and I met them up long before anybody said to them, come to the table. And that is why I insisted on giving them a platform so that Barbadians could see why we are proud in them and that there is a future for this party with them, in the same way that Barbadians can see why I asked this gentleman to come home within 48 hours from Geneva. It was a conversation, a difficult one, that I had with the Director General of the International Labour Organization, him to come for national duty, and that why within...
All right, we're going to have to reestablish that connection. As you can imagine, technology is as it is. But I'm sure our team will get that back up and running as soon as possible. Just a reminder that this broadcast is brought to you with the compliments of Omega XL. And we are going to go back to our panel in just a little bit to reflect on some of the key takeaways from tonight's by-election. Before we do that, though, we want to see if we can get back on the ground at Gordon Greenwich Primary School and hear what the Prime Minister is saying. We absolutely want to finish up that particular discussion. But she was talking a lot of what we heard here tonight. Peter, the Prime Minister was reflecting on much of what you said, as a matter of fact, just before we went over to the school about the results.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a historic election, and let me be certainly the first person on the panel to congratulate Chad Blackman on entering politics in this way. It's a historic high. This is now, well, it continues to be the strongest constituency, second strongest constituency nationally. Chad Blackman has taken, what, 3,000 votes, and I think that he is...
participated in the democratic process today.
Absolutely.
How concerned are you about this level of turnout?
Look, I think that we are aware of the fact of a number of things. You saw me with my iPad earlier. The Barbados Labour Party went in virtually every house. The number of persons who actually live in this constituency are 6,470, not 8,534 or whatever it was. This is a problem that is a national problem. And you heard me last night say that we need and we will continue the enumeration exercise. The last time the country had an enumeration exercise was in the late 1990s when Arthur was Prime Minister. There was none undertaken by the Democratic Labour Party government. And when we were about to do, first and foremost, the digital identification card project, COVID came, and that pushed us back. We've more or less finished that digital ID card project, and we started the process of preparing for the enumeration exercise late last year, early this year. Let me put it in context for you. The electoral list has 200, I'm going to give you the exact number because I don't want to mislead you. The national electoral list has 261,147 people listed on it, because typically we do not take off people who are overseas. And in some instances, the lag between those who have died has gotten a little too long in my view. And then, of course, those who may have moved and some gone overseas again. The census of Barbados for 2022 puts the population at just over 267,000. Now, Barry, you and I both know that we have more than 6,000 primary school children in Barbados. So this tells us that we have a heavily inflated list. I venture to suggest that we may well find that somewhere between 10 to 15% of that list, if not more, is overseas. And therefore, we have to put those numbers in that context. With the official register, the turnout appears to be 38 or 39%. With the numbers taken out for what we know for the persons who are overseas and who have died or have moved, it is 50.1%. So could it be better? Yes, it could be. But I also believe that in a constituency where this is the worst performing result for a Democratic Labour Party candidate ever in the history of this country and this constituency, that what noise does this make? Makes no noise. And unless you have two sides really coming toe-to-toe, you run the risk always of a lower turnout, largely because you're not exciting the base. And that energy between the two parties would also naturally have a synergistic consequence on others coming out. So we suffered from that. We suffered from the fact that a by-election typically has less turnout usually than a general. But even with those things, the performance of Chad Blackman is so comprehensive and resounding, bearing in mind that the votes that he got typically approximates to the votes that most people would get in a constituency with the higher turnout throughout the history of this country. So that it is the extent of his victory at 84% of the vote that really speaks to that commanding presence. But at the same time, as I said, I am wise enough to be discerning enough to learn from every single aspect of this exercise. And therefore, if you know me well, you will know that I next time will want to move from 50.1% to 55%. And therefore, we will go to the ground, continue to listen, continue to learn, continue to lead.
Madam Prime Minister, you think she saved the deposit?
I really don't. I don't practice law anymore, and I don't comment on things that may be injurious to others.
All right, you have Edmund Hensinger as well. You were the mentor of the new MP for St. James North, Mr. Blackman. Tell us your emotions right now, how you're feeling now that he's completed the job.
Extremely pleased and vindicated. As you know, I mean, Chad has come to this constituency with tremendous background, international experience, regional as CARICOM up Youth Ambassador and national experience. I felt confident enough to endorse Chad publicly in December, as you know, because as he has said, we had been together walking this constituency since March last year, and I was satisfied as to the quality and suitability of Chad to represent the people of St. James North in the Parliament of Barbados. This has been a fantastic campaign. All kudos to the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister who led it, but we had a superb quality candidate in the field. It was the Democratic Labour Party, as the Prime Minister said, who cast this as a national referendum. And you see this result, Chad at 84%, reflects what I got in 2018. And we know the results of the 2018 election. The Dems were at 600 votes the last two elections. They're down to 468 now. Our record has been vindicated. And the Prime Minister says he's hopeful that the Dems, which, as Colin Jordan said, is quite honestly, factually, you have to be factual, a mere pressure group now, that the Dems will learn. I'm not hopeful that they will learn, because their campaign and negativity was a reflection of the 2018 campaign. Cuss everybody personally, cuss all the policies of the BLP, no developmental plan. A candidate who, quite honestly, was only on the ground the last 3.5 weeks. So, as Chad said, with God's help, he will do extremely well. And of course, we thank the people of St. James North, our constituents, for turning out, and we thank the whole team BLP for the mobilization which was put in this constituency over the last 3.5.
Eddie, a good swan song for you. What's next on the card for you?
No, but I practice law. I mean, I have to go into the funeral tomorrow of a stalwart of the Barbados Labour Party, Chester Rock. I'm in my law office. So, but you know what I've said. In terms of my availability for continued service to this country and my people and whatever.
Madam Prime Minister has a comment. You want to tell us what's next?
No. I can't say what's next for him. Only he can speak of what's next for him. But I have every confidence that he will continue to serve. I do want to say two things. That one, it is important that I thank the people of St. James North. One of the other things that may have contributed was that people kept telling, man, I don't have to come out, he gonna win. The truth is, I keep saying, every ballot box opens with 0. And therefore, those who came out, I thank you for coming out and expressing the confidence. I want to thank the Barbados Labour Party team also that managed this campaign. It was led by my Deputy Prime Minister, Cynthia Bradshaw, the General Secretary of the Barbados Labour Party, Jerome Walcott, and a number of other senior people were involved across the entire. This is the solidarity that I expect from a well-functioning political organization. And I really am humbled that we are able to comport ourselves in a manner that is befitting of a party that is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, in the English-speaking Caribbean at 87 years. I also want to thank the people who worked from St. James North, and I'm being very specific now. Christina, where are they? Stacey, all of them, Juju, all of them, Faye, Lucas, all of them. I want to thank, I called Stacey's name just now, DeCarla, Fabian, Ryan Medford, all of them. And these people worked beyond the call of duty. And therefore, it would be remiss of me not to publicly thank all of you. I think that they all want some sleep now, but the adrenaline will keep them all going for the next few hours, I suspect. And then we will come to the issue of sleep. For Chad, he was absolutely correct. I believe that the swearing in will be tomorrow at 12:30. And Eddie was absolutely correct that life has a funny way of throwing balls at us. Tomorrow morning, we will bury a woman who perhaps represented one of the strongest set of values that I've ever met in the Barbados Labour Party. Her name is Chessel Rock. I think I issued a statement on her. We have the Chessel Rock Award every year. She would tell me that she was the first person other than the doctors to have held me as a baby. But she has been around this Barbados Labour Party for probably near 3/4 of its existence. And that we are burying one but bringing one is a story of life. And that is very much, therefore, in my thoughts. And that is why we remain rooted, and Chad has been rooted in this, in terms of his humility, in terms of his prayers, in terms of his faith, and I'm grateful for that. When he's sworn in tomorrow, because of the funeral, because of the swearing in, the cabinet starts at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So he's actually in cabinet as Minister of Education and Transformation at 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you very much, Madam
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. The battle for the St. James North constituency has concluded, and Chad Blackman has emerged victorious, defeating Democratic Labour Party Felicia Dujon, independent candidates Alex Mitchell, as well as Stephanie Williams. The big man with the big plan gets to work. That's it from the St. James North constituency here at the Gordon Greenwich Primary School.
Thank you so much, Crystal. Great work from you and the team on the outside there, and indeed the entire team who are out and about across the constituency all day today. We're going to take a quick break and come back and wrap up. Do stay with us.
From Great Healthworks, the makers of Omega XL.
We going big, we going big, we going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability, beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. With a whole lot of knowledge.
I believe that the results really underscore the dynamic nature of our political landscape at this time, and the need for us to stay in tune with the needs of the candidates. So let me have your final results, your final say on the results from today's by-election, starting with you.
Well, they say, Tisha, the will of the people is the will of God. At this point in time, I can safely say that we concede defeat, defeat yet again. But again, I challenge the government, and I'm so sorry to go back to this, but with respect to the sewage tax, it is not included in the estimates. I still ask the government to present the taxes collected in the sewage tax. And I say that the Democratic Labour Party still continues the fight on behalf of the people of Barbados, and we will bring an even stronger opposition going forward.
Dr. George Brathwaite, your final words.
Yes, I think it has been interesting, if not always as exciting as one would want for elections and elections. However, there are lessons to be learned in this. I'd rather start with the Democratic Labour Party in terms of the lessons. There's one lesson that keeps repeating itself, but sometimes we see but we don't see, and we hear but we don't hear. Because that's the last speaker just repeated the error that I hear every day on calling programs, from callers to the program. They keep attacking. There's a time to back off and say, let me rewind and come again. And rewind and coming again speaks to what Prime Minister Motley said just now. It's about listening. It's about, I think that made a difference in Barbados in the lead up to the 2018 election with the rubble shoulder programs of the Barbados Labour Party where they've been listening. I think it made a difference in 2008 with David Thompson leading the Democratic Labour Party then. He was listening to the people. You have to do it. Another thing that I've heard, not just former prime ministers in Barbados say, but certainly when I was in Antigua, I was close to Prime Minister Brown. A political party, particularly in opposition, it needs discipline, but it needs to transform that same discipline from opposition to when they're in government. So with that, I would say that's the lesson, and the lesson for the the Barbados Labour Party is face it and fix it. There are issues out there that still concern the people of Barbados. Face it and fix it. We will need you for a long time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raffet. To you, Senator Thompson.
Thank you. This is an extremely interesting result because St. James North is a microcosm of Barbados. Fisher folk, tourism, people working in the tourism sector, really upper middle class, upper middle class, lower middle income, working class people, a coastal section, a rural section. So it is a very interesting result if in fact it is telling us how people across multiple demographics feel. So that's my first thing. Again, I would caution the Barbados Labour Party. You've had a wonderful night. Congratulations to Chad Blackman, MP. And congratulations to the Barbados Labour Party. This, however, does not mean that you do not have work to do. And as I indicated, I expected that the Prime Minister would say that they still have a lot of work to do. To the Democratic Labour Party, I would say, I do not rejoice in this result. I am very glad the Barbados Labour Party won. But as I said earlier, I want to see a Democratic Labour Party that shows up with messaging and a narrative that is compelling and not just all negative, that reflects the experience of people and that is accurate. An opposition, you cannot expect people to vote for an opposition by saying, well, we ain't got the numbers, give us some numbers. You have to prove yourself ready and you have to prove yourself worthy. They demonstrated neither of those in this campaign. I think that it is clear that there are going to be serious geopolitical and very difficult times ahead, and that the country is reposing confidence, if this is in fact a harbinger of national sentiment. The country is reposing confidence in the Prime Minister and the Barbados Labour Party, and therefore she said they must remain humble and keep working. I would want to publicly thank the Barbados Labour Party team for their very hard work, to Chad for offering himself, his family. We haven't heard a lot about Chad as a family man, but he is a family man and has a daughter whom he loves dearly and who is besotted with her dad. And now I think St. James North is as well. I should like to thank St. James North for this result and the people of Barbados for really showing that democracy is alive, for coming out night after night, no violence at the meetings, nothing negative. And I give thanks to Almighty God for Barbados and for the people of Barbados.
Thank you so much, Senator. And Peter, final takeaways.
Okay, thank you for giving me the last say. And yeah, congratulations to the Barbados Labour Party and congratulations to Chad Blackman. A historic election in the sense that we have essentially maintenance of the status quo and a maintenance of a result that's very attractive. It's also historic. This is probably one of the first elections in which the concession came from a panel at the radio station, television station. And I thought it was unfortunate that we couldn't hear from either Felicia Dujon herself or Ralph Soren at the headquarters for the Compton station. I thought that was unfortunate, but I appreciate very much the fact that Don was able to conceive. Okay, all right. Well, that's unfortunate. But anyhow, so suffice to say that that's where we are. If I were to break down the performance and analyze it and say, look, Chad Blackman has won every box. Chad Blackman has improved the showing on Edmund Hinkson in every box but one. His overall improvement is a 4% swing in favor of the Barbados Labour Party. That's extremely impressive. The deterioration on the Democratic Labour Party side is almost a 5%. The DLP has lost more than the Barbados Labour Party gained, and it has a lot to do with the third parties and so on that were in there. So those numbers are fairly impressive. When we look at the electoral turnout, it's recorded at 38%. As the Prime Minister indicated, if you look at the actual numbers of people who are living in the constituency, 6,470, you're looking at a 50% turnout, which is actually not inconsistent with what we would have had in the previous election and several of the by-elections that we've discussed. So generally speaking, I would say that that's where we are. It definitely was, it was not a good night for the Barbados Democratic Labour Party. Their 468 is the lowest number of votes that the DLP has ever gotten, received in that constituency. I do think that in the aftermath of all of this, and I'm now moving away from the numbers, the Democratic Labour Party has to have a serious conversation. The idea of framing it as a referendum on the government was an extremely bad idea, and I said that from the beginning. What has happened is that the government took up the challenge and said, if it's a referendum, let's see. They have shown essentially now that there clearly was a reaffirmation of support for the government, and it's reflected in this result. And as I said, it was something the Democratic Labour Party set up so easily. So congratulations to them. We have more of that analysis tomorrow. We will continue this on the radio at 9, Q100.7 FM.
Absolutely. So we encourage you to join us. And as we conclude our coverage of the St. James North by-election, we extend our gratitude to all of our viewers and listeners for joining us on this significant night in Barbados' democratic journey. Special thanks to Senator the Most Honorable Elizabeth Thompson and Dr. Dawn Marie Armstrong, as well as George Brathwaite, and Dr. George Brathwaite and Peter Wickham for joining us for analysis, and to our field reporters for bringing us live coverage and updates from the ground across the day. We now would like to go over to Ralph Thorne, opposition leader, to get that concession speech that we heard about a little bit earlier. Of course, Dr. Armstrong told us that they were standing by to be able to speak with the public. We want to make sure that we carry that before we wrap up today's broadcast. A reminder that our sponsors for this broadcast are Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics, for their support in making this possible. We thank them immensely. And the team is going to let me know as soon as we're able to bring the opposition leader in for that presentation. Based on all that we have seen, the numbers are definitely an indicator that the national conversation must continue. Here are the final results in the St. James North by-election, the first by-election since Barbados was declared a republic, and there's lots to take away. Remember, as Peter told you, join us tomorrow morning. Join us this morning on Q100.7 FM, 9 o'clock for Let's Talk About It, where we will bring you further analysis on all of the numbers. So Chad Blackman declared the winner of the St. James North by-election. Let's go over now to opposition leader Ralph Thorne.
Election. So we will have comments by our candidate Felicia Dujon, followed by our political leader Ralph Thorne.
Hi, good evening everyone. I'm sorry you are that late this evening, but I first want to thank everyone who helped and assisted in this by-election. I also want to extend congratulations to Mr. Blackman and ensure that he does the work of the constituency. It was a pleasure working in this constituency. Within 3 weeks, I got to know the majority of the concerns in the constituency, and it is my job to continue to advocate and intervene on behalf of the members of St. James North.
Candidate, before you move on, can you say what you believe went wrong with your campaign?
I don't think there's anything that went wrong. I think we have to respect the voices of the people first and foremost. And I believe that within 3 weeks, as compared to 12 months, there was a disadvantage in that, but it doesn't matter because we are still here to defend the rights of citizens of this constituency and the country by extended. So it's not that something went wrong, it is just that we will continue to fight the good fight.
Okay, do you expect to be running again in this constituency whenever elections are called?
We're preparing for a general election.
Meaning that you...
We're preparing for a general election. It means that I will continue to work on behalf of the people of St. James North and to ensure that and to also ensure, as I said before, when I started, I told you there is a number of concerns in this constituency, and these concerns will not go away because someone got elected within this period of time, 3 weeks, a month. These problems, these issues have been outstanding. So more than, I would say, 35 years. The roads, the neglect of children and the elderly, these concerns will continue to exist if we do not step in and do what is necessary. So my advocacy does not stop here. It doesn't stop here tonight. We will continue to advocate and to champion on the rights of the members of this constituency. And I just want to add, this is not the first politician that has ever lost their seat, including our Prime Minister. But it doesn't stop us from moving forward because the fight is not about Felicia Dujon, the fight is about the disadvantaged persons in this constituency.
Well, that's it from us. So on behalf of the entire CBC team and of course the panel joining us here, I'd like to thank you for staying with us for the entire evening. Come in a little later today for further analysis, as we told you, on Q100.7 FM. Join us on cbc.bb. Wishing you a good morning and a safe journey if you have to travel home. Good morning to you.
We going big, we going big, we going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James of massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad.
1, 2, check.
Chad. We going big with Chad. We going big with Chad. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad.
1, 2,
big
check.
Big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman.
1, 2. Driver MB 989.
We go
MB 989.
We going big. Go big or go home.
MB 989.
Man, big heart, big.
They got somebody blocking, you need to move. MB 989.
Man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James of massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 We going big. big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. Whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James of Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We see with me.
My sweet Barbados, we greater. Bring me a Molly, we safer. Trip with them nights, don't we go wait till later. When I hear my
Right now she got 5-star loan. We voting Mia and more. She's the best PM for me. Mia and the BLP. Who best to lead this country? Vote Mia and Team BLP. Barbados Labour Party is the only choice for we on call. We want Mia for sure in this election. Mia is the champion, say on call. We want Mia for sure in this election. Mia is the champion, so come. Hands up, we keep on chatting. Mia is the one for me. Hands up, there we keep on voting with Mia and the BLP. Hands up, we keep on chatting. Mia, the one for me. Hands up, there we keep on voting with Mia and the BLP.
on your mark, get set, get ready now to put down the hex. January 19th, everything set. BLP live and direct. Everybody know. Trip, trip, trip to the polling station. Pick up the pencil tip, 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 tip. Put down the X for the BLP quick.
Mia, we safer with Mia. We going big, we going big, we going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Chad, Chad, Chad. We going big. vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Chad, Chad, Chad. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, Chad. Hardworking, Chad. Dedicated, Chad. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big.
Life is so good to me. Life is so good to me. Whoa, whoa, yeah. From your wake up this morning, you're a winner. Yeah, 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 yeah. From your wake up this morning, you're a winner. Yeah, 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 yeah. From your wake up this morning, you're a winner. Yeah, 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 yeah. From your wake up this morning, you're a winner.
We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, Chad. Hardworking, Chad. Dedicated, Chad. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion.
going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability, beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Chad, 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 Chad.
Sweet Barbados, na 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 na. Oh boy, ha. This is not a bet. This is not an ordinary crop over. 'Cause I never seen so much tourists come here yet to join us for the festival crop over. I can't believe it, how this place ram to the limit. The country full of vibes, vibes, and everybody had nice, nice. We like man, go and check your agency, book your ticket to come by we. 'Cause we waiting for you to join the bacchanal. Home sweet home, sweet Barbados, I love this place. Give me room to tell my ways, crop over festival. Home sweet home, there's no place I would rather be. Everyone in unity, now look how everybody come here. Barbados, 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 Barbados. Enjoy your life, come let me have a time. Barbados, 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 yeah. Oh yeah. You will have no regrets coming for this festival crop over. Have you never seen a bear gonna walk up yet? Come to a festival crop over. I can't believe it, how this place ram to the limit. The country full of vibes, vibes, and everybody had nice, nice. We like man, go and check your agency, book your ticket to come by we. 'Cause we waiting for you to join the bacchanal. Home sweet home, sweet Barbados, I love this place. Give me room to build my ways, crop over festival. Home sweet home, there's no place I would rather be. Everyone in unity, now look how everybody come here. Barbados, 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 Barbados. Enjoy your life, come let me have a time. Barbados, Barbados, Barbados.
We going big, we going big, we going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability, beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. More music, sharp vibes. I never feel so good in a party yet. I never feel so good in a party yet. You know why? I leave my girlfriend home to do what is pleasing. I jamming and whining with so much meaning. big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman.
You ready to roll? Yeah. Can I talk just a little bit? Can I really talk just a little bit? Can I really talk just a little bit? Hold on. Now is the time. Now is the time. Everybody ready? Everybody ready. Go tell your friends. Go tell your friends. Tell your whole family. Your whole family. Tell the stranger on the left. On the left. Tell the stranger on the right. On the right. We rolling with BLP. It's more chance to make this right. Together we rolling. Together we moving. Together we working. And we building. Tell me how you're feeling. You know why? All our way to BLP. All our way. One family. All our way to BLP. All our way with me up. Come let me step. With me up. We making it better. With me up. Climbing up the ladder. With me up. We ain't looking back. Lad. Everybody know, come get aboard. Yeah. We ain't taking no more heavy load. No. Let me come together and make things better. No, we ready for the road. We don't want no drama. No, get on board with me. It's one big family and we rolling with BLP. And together we rolling. Together we moving. Together we working. And we building. Tell me how you're feeling. You know why? All our way to BLP. All our way. One family. All our way to BLP. All our way with me. Come let me step. With me up. We making it better. With me up. Climbing up the ladder. With me up. And we ain't looking back, lad. Red. We ain't taking no more heavy load. Red. We ain't taking no more. Now is the time. Now is the time. Everybody ready? Everybody ready. Go tell your friends. Go tell your friends. Tell your whole family. Your whole family. Tell the stranger on the left. On the left. Tell the stranger on the right. On the right. We rolling with BLP and we making everything right. Together we rolling.
with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad black man is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man, committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad black man. We going big with Chad. We going big with Chad. We going big with Chad. We going big with Chad.
Yay, 1, 2.
Big action. We going big with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad black man.
1, 2.
Big passion. We going big with Chad black man. And ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad black man is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man, committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad black man. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man. Chad, 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 Chad.
Madam Boy, Madam Lord. See my ex with a new man, feel like she new burn. We inside a session, party kicking up hard. She put up, she 2-1, whining back on the man. You think I gave a damn? You're mad. The day you leave me, the day you leave me, I started to see my way. When you hurt me, I went away. What I thought was a tragedy was a blessing. The day you up and leave was a blessing. A blessing. I'm feeling so blessed. Oh yes. When you leave was a blessing.
We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad black man is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man, committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad black man. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man. Chad, Chad. We going big. We going big. We going big. Chad, Chad. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad black man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad black man. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you know Chad black man is ready. And with the whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Chad, Chad, Chad.
Queen Mia and more. She's the best PM for me. Mia and the BLP. Who best to lead this country? Vote Mia and Team BLP. Barbados Labour Party is the only choice for we on call. We want Mia for sure in this election. Mia is the champion, say on call. We want Mia for sure in this election. Mia is the champion. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you got no Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, hardworking, dedicated. We going big with Chad Blackman. Chad. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Chad. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman.
big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Chad, Chad, Chad. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, Chad. Hardworking, Chad. Dedicated, Chad. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, Chad, Chad, Chad. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, Chad. Hardworking, Chad. Dedicated, Chad. We going big with Chad Blackman. We going big with Chad. 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 Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Chad, Chad, Chad. We going big. We going big. We going big. Go big or go home. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North Massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. Committed, Chad. Hardworking, Chad. Dedicated, Chad. We going big with Chad Blackman. man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman. His talent and ability, beyond his years maturity. With the whole lot of love for this country, you don't know Chad Blackman is ready. And with a whole lot of knowledge, bright and so innovative. For all the St. James North massive, a great representative. Big man, big heart, big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion. We going big with Chad Blackman.
Yes. Good morning, St. James North. Good morning, St. James North. We feel real good. This has been a big win by a big man with a big vision. This morning, I want to introduce to you the man himself, the man we have supported, the man we have uplifted, the man we have encouraged, the man we have prayed for, the man we have stayed with, the man whose back we have had over the past few weeks, the man who has delivered to the Barbados Labour Party family a resounding victory in this by-election. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we introduce the new Member of Parliament for St. James North, Mr. Chad Blackman.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. St. James North. All right, give me a moment now. It is certainly an honor to speak to you at the Labour Party headquarters in St. James North as the duly elected Member of Parliament for St. James North. Tonight's victory is, just give, I know we're excited, me too, but just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Tonight's victory is symbolic for many reasons. But first, of course, as I said at the school, I want to thank God. I want to thank my parents. I want to thank the Prime Minister, my campaign manager, my campaign team, my family, my friends, but ultimately the people of St. James North who elected me today, well, no, yesterday, because without you, it could not have been possible. And this, of course, is the excitement, but the work starts today, Thursday, the 22nd of May. And whilst, as I said last night, this is now a marriage with St. James North, there is no honeymoon, because with a boss like me and more Motley, you don't have those luxuries. You understand? But it is necessary, because to whom much is given, much is expected. And therefore, I am going to enjoy tonight to the fullest, get some rest, because tomorrow's a long day. But tomorrow starts the journey on your behalf. On your behalf. And I want you to keep me in your prayers. I will remain accessible to you and working hard on your behalf to make sure that this constituency is a constituency that all of us and the rest of this nation can be proud. All of you here, in one way or the other, over the last few weeks and over the last year, have helped me to get to where we are tonight. And I owe you for eternity. I owe you for eternity. And I want to simply say to you, this is a long-term relationship, and the work now has to begin. And let us now band together under the banner of the Labour Party on behalf of this great constituency of St. James North to do what is right by the people and for the people. So let's have some fun, of course. But before then, I will pass the mic to another leader, the political boss.
Mia, Amor, Motley.
My friends, there is nothing like an idea that has come to fruition. Months ago, I determined that it was necessary to start the process of bridging the generation gaps. And I want to thank Eddie Hinkson for 12 years of strong stewardship, of commitment to the Barbados Labour Party, and also for understanding that the baton must pass. I understand that the baton must pass from me one day too. And all of us must understand that. You cannot be a political party that is celebrating 87 years without passing the baton from generation to generation to generation. And tonight is an emotional night for me. I said it at the school. Tomorrow we say farewell to someone who never served in Parliament, but who was one of the anchors of this Barbados Labour Party for 3/4 of its history. I speak of no other than Cecil Rock. And you hear us talk about the Cecil Rock Award every annual conference. But as with life, we lose one, we gain one. Chad, you are 18 years my junior. And I have every confidence that you and the other members of the Young Socialists who came to really emerge in this campaign understand the integrity and the sacredness of the legacy that you are inheriting. The people of Barbados are good people. They have placed their trust in us now in 4 election campaigns. I do not take it for granted. And I give them the commitment that goes even beyond the commitment I give to this party. Because this country is among the best that we can ever want to live in the world. We have a duty to be good to each other and to pay forward to each other. And in this campaign, so many emotions merged. The other one, of course, and I reflected on it in Ashton Hall and Corbin's Road, that last week was the 400th anniversary that the British landed on this island. But we have shown that contrary to 3 centuries, 3.5 centuries almost, that said that we would not be equal to being human, that we would not be equal to carrying forward this country. We have shown otherwise. And I want to thank the members of this party for staying the course, because so much has been said, so much fake news, so much rumors, and you could have chosen to doubt instead. But instead you chose to stay the course. We must always learn. We must always listen. We must always be prepared to lead at the end of the day. And I want to say to you, Chad, that it has been an absolute joy. And I know Santia, she has a headache, but I know Santia and the rest of the parliamentary party who turned out in their numbers, because we know that we are always stronger together. Always stronger together. And I want to say this, even as you assume the role tomorrow as Minister of Educational Transformation, as I said last night, I know what my personal views are. But there are times when even your personal views must be downsized or put in another box to accept that you have to carry the people of the country with you. And if the people are not yet ready to move at that pace, then we slow down and we bring them on board. And that is what we are doing. So that this nonsense talk about democracy at risk in Barbados is an insult to this country's integrity, insult to this country's history. And I say to you that we can do better. And I, who know Errol Barrow, know that he would not be happy with what people are choosing to do with his party today, because he was prepared to be in the vanguard of the progressive movement to carry this country forward. In the same way that Grantley was in the 50s, Barrow was in the 60s and early 70s, Tom was in the 70s and 80s, Owen Arthur was, and even all of the others who served, Erskine Sandiford and Bree St. John, held the integrity of this country. So that when I stand here today, I stand here not believing that I am the leader absolutely of this country, but simply I am a steward for a period of time. And my duty is to make sure that there is a passing of baton to all across this country and all across this party. Because this country, I swear to you, is the greatest country on earth. And I want to talk to you now, because many of you come out day in and day out. You have your problems. You go home to your problems. You go home to challenges. But you have understood, and this is what we must teach our young people, that there is a greater purpose than just simply our own singular well-being. And if we can get that imbued in our country, across the country, and Chad, that is why I'm so inspired by your Flame initiative. And I spoke in the Church of God when we celebrated our 87th anniversary. And I asked us, and I meant it, we have a responsibility to bring our children up to know the difference between right and wrong, to understand the importance of faith, and to understand that there's nothing wrong because there's balance. We will enjoy life, but in enjoying life, we must never lose sight of what is right and what is wrong. So that when I say to you that when we work hard, we party hard, that does not mean that you do wrong. And this notion that we can't party or we can't do things that are joyful, the Bible, Colin, is littered with examples of people celebrating. But that does not alter the essence of who we are. And it is regrettable that the party that carried us to independence has now so divorced itself from hope, from the possibilities of greatness, and reduced itself to being a vessel for complaints and misery. And I pray, as God is my witness, that they too will find their way and find their roots once again in this country. Because as God knows, today for me, tomorrow for them. But when it comes for them, it must be anchored in the best of who Barbados is. And I accept, Chad, that to whom much is given, as you said, much is expected. The people of this constituency have given you a gift of confidence that is rare, that is associated usually with people who die before you come. This is the kind of result that you get when a person dies in office and a person is replacing the person who dies in office. But Eddie Hinkson is alive. And that you could have this kind of result speaks so much to your heart. And I pray here today at Lower Carlton, a place that has raised me from my birth. I am as much a child of here as I am of St. Michael. That I pray today And all of us join me in that you will never lose the humility and your respect for those who you represent, because that is the most important thing. It is not about brilliance. It is not even about vision. It is first about heart. And if you keep that, people will understand when you fall. People will understand when you rise. And if you listen, people will understand when you fall. People will understand when you rise. And if you remember nothing else that I have told you in all of the years, remember this, because I know that if God is good, you will be here much longer than me. And when you are here much longer than me, I ask you to pay forward by making sure that the next generation understands that it is first about heart and caring for people. God is good. And tonight, the Barbados Labour Party is feeling good. But I say to you, do not let the celebrations go beyond next weekend. Because from St. Lucie to St. Philip, from St. John to St. James, from St. Michael to St. Andrew, in the middle from St. George and St. Thomas, from Christchurch to St. Joseph, I say to all of us, that we have work to do, and that the presence of us in communities through rubbing shoulders is not a political ploy, but it is real. Because if we listen to people, and we learn from people, and we lead accordingly, then we shall do right by our living and by our actions in everything for this country. So God bless all of us. And let me, as I close, I am conscious that we have been an inconvenience to the people of Lower Carlton, First Avenue, Second Avenue, Link Road, Chapel Gap, Lower Carlton generally. I want to humbly apologize for the amount of traffic. I hope that normal service will resume for you in about a week's time. But I suspect that the big man will have a level of engagement on this site that may give you a little more inconvenience. But if he does, it is in the name of democracy, and it is in the name of making this constituency a better constituency. And Eddie, no thing to you. I hope that whoever comes after me will do better than me. And Eddie, I therefore hope that Chad will do better than you. So, hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! And my last comments are to thank all who occupied this house for the last 3-4 weeks. Santia, I know you have a headache, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. Members of the Barbados Labour Party, Parliamentary Party, all of you, too many to call, thank you from the bottom of my heart. St. James North, executive of the Barbados Labour Party, you have been a dream to work with. You have been an utter and absolute dream. And when I go to National Council, I will ask that you be specially commended, because I've never had the opportunity for such a seamless transition as this. And I say simply to the rest of us, we give thanks, we stay the course, we celebrate, but we get back to work within a week. And I ask you never to allow us to become so haughty as to forget who we represent. Never to forget in whose name we hold faith. And never to forget that our duties are not over until it is over. I apologize now formally to the people who I, this afternoon at 5 o'clock, chased out of this campaign headquarters. I evicted all of the members of St. James North from this campaign headquarters, Fabian, all like you, at 5 o'clock. Because it is not over until what? It is over. God bless Barbados. God bless the Barbados Labour Party. God bless Chad Blackman. And may you have a long, rewarding relationship. And Pat is appropriately reminding me that Saturday coming is the 7th anniversary that we have gotten the confidence of the people of Barbados to lead this country. And I ask you, you know where that big poster was of Chad at the corner there in St. Albans, that big open lot? I ask you to join me there on Saturday afternoon at 5:30 for a rally that will celebrate not only the victory of Chad Blackman, but the 7th anniversary of the confidence of the people of Barbados in us. God bless you. Meet me there Saturday afternoon, 5:30 p.m. Come out in your numbers and let us, 1, celebrate, but 2, recommit to the people of this country. God bless you all.
Big action. We going big with Chad Blackman. Big man, big vision, big passion.